Hello, welcome back. Thanks for being here. My name is Mackenzie Quintana, and I am excited to share with you today about feelings. We're gonna take it back. Well, no, actually, I no one was ever taught this in elementary school, I don't think. But feelings are so important, and it's what I felt guided to talk to you about today. So here we go. If you're new here, thanks for being here. I share on this podcast things that I have learned, am learning, have experienced, am experiencing that have helped me just have a better life, a more joy-filled life, a more hope-filled life, and all the good things. So thanks for being here. You're in the right place. Okay, so feelings. When I when I had the thought to talk about feelings, I then had two thoughts that came up, and that was that feelings. Well, one thought that feelings could be kind of categorized into two different categories. One, we have our what I'm going to call our mind feelings or our mental feelings, and the other ones is our intuitive feelings. So I'll go with the intuitive feelings first. So intuition is something that I had kind of heard about before, but I really had no for sure really understanding of what it was. I kind of thought that it was kind of like the spirit, like if you're religious and you believe in the Holy Ghost or the spirit, being able to talk to you, then that's like your intuition, which I think that could be part of it. I don't know, honestly, like where the Holy Ghost fits into that. I'm sure he influences it. But I think our intuition is it comes from our body and it comes from heaven. I believe that one of the ways that heaven speaks to us, our angels and our heavenly parents speak to us, is through our bodies, because just like everything else in this world, God created our bodies, and just like everything else in this world, our bodies are energy, I believe. I think I've kind of touched base a little bit with that in past episodes, where if we take everything down to its smallest, most simple form of, from like an atom to a micro, what is it? Nuclear, oh gosh, I just completely forgot all the words. So I guess I'm not meant to talk about that right now. But if you go down to like the smallest form, it is energy. It is energy. It is energy. And everything at its smallest form is energy. The desk that I am sitting at, the chair, the grass outside, my eyeballs, my brain, like the air around me, it is all energy. And energy is intelligent and it communicates. If you think about the animals, I heard it described this way. Like, if you think about animals, like, I think it's pretty scientific. Like, everyone accepts the fact that animals have their animal instincts, right? They have their animal intuition, where they can just sense when the weather's gonna be a certain way, or they can just sense if a predator is approaching them, or they can just sense if something or someone is safe or not, right? Like we believe that, and a lot of there are people who count on dogs and different animals to they rely on their animal instincts, their animal intuition. But we have the same thing, and I heard it just said that way once, wouldn't it make sense that if we're the supreme wow, where are my words? Being, we're as humans, we are the supreme being. We're above animals, which I that sounds very whatever, but you know what I mean? We're smarter than animals. So if they have an intuition, then to me it makes sense that we would as well. And if we believe, see how smart animals are because of their intuition, how much smarter we could be, and how much more maybe not smarter, but just better at what we do if we could lean into our own intuition as well. And so, well, I wasn't gonna, okay, it's fine. tangent. And so we have intuition, and it comes from our bodies, and heaven speaks to us through our bodies. And that's why, like, you'll hear, where women just, I think women more so than men, but men also say, like, I just felt it in my gut that it's what I needed to do, or I just had this feeling that I needed to leave, or, and it's just, they don't explain it. They can't really explain why or where it came from or what. And it's just that, like, and I've learned that different types, I've talked a little bit about human design. Different types of human design experience this intuition differently. For some, it's very much like in their gut, where it's like, I just have this gut feeling, and like they can almost feel it in their stomach, like this feeling. For me, I've learned that it's more like, it's more in my head, where I'm like, it just makes sense. Like, we need to leave right now. I don't know, but it just makes sense in my head that we need to leave. Like, sometimes I'll feel it in my body, but like for me, it's just like, it just makes sense that we got to get out of here, or it just makes sense that I should do this, or like, even though I have no explanation for it. Other people feel it in other parts of their bodies. So that's something that is really beneficial to kind of hone in on, where you and how you experience your own intuition. And like I said, if you want to learn more about that, one of the ways to do that is by learning about your human design. And you can just Google human design, and there's tons of websites out there that can give you more information on that. But those feelings are our intuitive feelings. Like I said, they help us usually it's when we aren't like actively seeking for a feeling. It just like kind of comes up, right? Or like, it's a way to communicate, right? And we can also like practice and learn and get better at developing our intuition, where that can become something that we rely on. And honestly, that's super a great thing to do, because what better way to like live your life than following the intuition, the feelings that come from heaven, and like them guiding you, right? So super, super cool. And it is kind of scary though, when you're like, I don't have any logical reason for, taking this step, other than it just feels like it's right. And you just have to go off of that, and that's faith, right? I think that's one way that we could describe faith. It's just a feeling that you have, and you believe that it's true, and you just go for it. Hold on. So anyways, it's really cool. And you can like get really intentional with like, okay, I'm seeking an answer, and so I'm going to look to my intuition to guide me. Like, it doesn't have to just be something where you're just like waiting to be like, okay, wait, like intuition and time now, like pop up, like you can make it something that you consciously do, is to tap into your intuition. Now, the other category that I would say we can put feelings in is our mental feelings. And these are feelings that come from the thoughts that we're having. And I heard it just said I heard it said at one point that our feelings are nothing more than an indicator of what we are thinking. Or what is even like, it could be an indicator of what we're experiencing, right? And I just had this happen today, where I started feeling a little bit anxious and a little bit like worried and apprehensive. And I realized, I was very aware that it was because of the thoughts that I was choosing. It was thoughts around money, that I, was worried that we weren't going to have the money that we needed for this thing that I was wanting to get, and just different, whatever. And I started having these feelings of like, oh no, and again, like, I have to share this because I've been practicing not having those thoughts for like 4 years now. Like, I know and that's what I finally had to do. I had to just like stop and be like, take a deep breath, Kenzie, go back to like the roots, go back to what do you know is true. And what I know is true is that everything is always working out for me, and God always has my back. And that just helped me be like, oh, okay, it's fine. Like, I don't need to worry. I'm just gonna, keep going and taking the steps that I need to, that I'm guided to do. But those feelings that I was having, if once you can start noticing your feelings, I mean, no, I know I've talked about like noticing your thoughts, but it can, like, maybe it's easier for you to notice your feelings. If noticing your thoughts is harder, notice the feelings that you're having and notice what thought is causing those feelings. And something really cool that I learned is that if you are having a feeling that is what we might describe as like a negative feeling, which I don't like, that's another thing. There's no good feelings or bad feelings. Like I just said, a feeling is nothing more than an indicator of the thoughts that you're having. So like, if you're feeling sad, that's not bad. That's just an indicator that you're thinking about something that's sad, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that. The sadness is a part of life. Same thing with like my today, you know, I was feeling anxious and worried. There's nothing wrong with that. I was thinking about not having enough money. So that's a natural side effect. That's a natural result of, oh no, I'm not going to have enough money. Well, yeah, then I'm going to feel worried, right? But those feelings that are kind of that lower vibration, that, oh, it's just a minute. Oh, okay. I've learned, which this is so cool, that when you are feeling those negative, more downward feelings, it's because the thoughts that you're having aren't true. I'm going to say that again. When you are feeling what you might describe as a negative emotion or a lower vibrating emotion, something that feels heavier, it's because what you are thinking about that is causing that feeling isn't true. It is not true. The fact that we weren't going to have enough money in the future wasn't true because the future hasn't even happened yet. So like, there's no way of knowing that that's true or not. Okay? What are some of the other thoughts that, like, sadness? Say that you lost a family member and you feel sad. Well, that's a normal feeling to have. You're probably sad because you're thinking about how you're not going to be able to be with them anymore. And some people might say that that is true. I believe that you will be able to be with them again. I believe that you will be able to, in the next life, be with those that we love. Think about, oh goodness, like when you think about, I'm just not good enough. I'm not good enough to do this thing. And so then you feel like crap and you feel like you're a worthless person. It's because it's not true. It's because you are worthy. You are good enough. And and because that is truth and you are thinking something else, it doesn't, like, it clashes. It doesn't match up. It causes, and that's that feeling. That's why it just feels like this heaviness, is because it doesn't, I'm trying to think of the right word. It doesn't match. It doesn't match what's true for you in your body, who you really are, and who in this world that we live in. If it's true, you will feel you will feel you will feel light. You will feel like a higher, like, even if it's something that's like, say that there's danger and you have the thought that there's danger. If it's true, you won't feel like the worry and the panic. Well, I don't know, maybe you will. Maybe this is a really bad example, but it's going to be a different feeling than if you're just like frantically worried and paranoid about something that's not actually true. And I bet that you could find proof of that in your own life. Okay? Like, just think about any time that you have felt sad or anger, or think about anger. Like, why do we get angry? Usually it's because we're mad that someone did something to us that was unfair, blah, 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 and all the things. Well, like, if you really stepped back, was it unfair? Like, was it, like, maybe it was, but maybe there was another side to the story, and maybe, like, they just weren't aware, and maybe, like, you don't know. Like, there's so much that goes into our feelings, and that wasn't actually what I meant to say. My point is, our feelings are nothing more than an indicator of our thoughts. Okay? There's no good feelings or bad feelings, even though I've been saying, kind of making that distinction. If you are feeling downward feelings, then just pause and ask yourself, is this actually true? Is this feeling that I'm having, is the thought that I'm having that is causing this feeling true? And I know that takes practice, and it takes some wait, what? What did she just say? I know. But because I've been talking a lot about how our thoughts lead to our feelings, right? But it's also, so I've been focusing on the thoughts, but you can also look at it the other way. I am feeling this way, and then backtrack it to, okay, what thought did I have that caused me to feel this way? And it's another just really powerful way to get into that observation mode where you're not getting all caught up in the drama of your thoughts and your feelings and what's going on in your life, and just allowing yourself to kind of get curious. Like I said earlier today, I very easily could have gone into a downward spiral and started panicking and worrying and, all the things. But instead I was able to just okay, what's going on here, Ken's? Why are you feeling this way? And I realized, it's because I'm believing this thing about money that's actually not even true. And even I have to say though, even though once I recognized that I was doing that, it still took me a while to get out of that. I was still in that kind of a little bit worried and anxious feeling for a little bit. It didn't just all of a sudden go away just because I realized that's just a thought that I'm having and it's not true. Sometimes it takes our bodies a minute to catch up, and sometimes we have to keep reminding ourselves of that over and over and over again. And for the example of today, I had to physically do things to get my body out of that energy, that feeling that it was in. I got up and I took deep breaths and I got myself out of this room and I distracted myself with something else so that I wasn't dwelling on those thoughts that were creating those feelings, right? Which sounds very duh, but I think a lot of times we don't give these simple things enough credit. If you're feeling in a rut or in a bad mood, go do something different. Don't keep doing the same thing that you're doing or thinking the same things that you're thinking about. Otherwise, you're just going to keep feeling that same way, right? It's very, very duh. But like I said, sometimes we just forget. So anyways, that's it for today. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of what you want to hear me talk about, topics, anything that I've talked about in the past that you maybe want to dive a little bit deeper in, or questions for me or anything like that, I would love to do, an episode for you on what you're bumping up against, what you're wanting help with, maybe something that I've shared that you're I didn't really get that. Can you explain it again in a different way without so many tangents? Whatever you want. I would love to do that for you. So you can message me again on social media. I'm the Genuine Ginger, or the.genuineginger. Sorry. the.genuine.ginger. Yeah, I said that right. I'm that on Instagram. I'm also on YouTube. Search the Genuine Ginger. If you don't see that, then search Mackenzie Quintana and you'll probably find me. It's MAKENZIE QUINTANA. Anyways, I also have my website, thegenuineginger.com. So lots of ways that we can get in touch. You can leave a comment or review. I would love to hear from you, and thanks for being here. We'll catch you later.